Welcome once more to Sydney Harbour, rain-drenched and windy Sydney Harbour, for another day's racing in the 18-foot skiffs. It's the first heat of the New South Wales State Championship. On behalf of Sail Media, I'm Peter Shipway, and along with Andrew Buckland and Jimmy Bury, we'll be hosting this for you this afternoon. The southerly moved through Sydney yesterday, strengthened overnight and brought a lot of rain with it. And the good news is there'll be not many spectators out or cruise boats out watching this first heat of the state championships, but plenty of wind and plenty of rain for all the competitors. So as we say good afternoon to Andrew Buckland, give us an overview on the weather, Andrew.
Well, Pete, you're right. Extensive trough, not very powerful, but very long trough line extending from Western Australia to the south of New Zealand. Incredible looking weather map for this time of the year. Little low pressure cell off the coast of the New South Wales coast, driving the flow that we've got here now. Northern New South Wales, though, still in northeast flow a couple of hours before this race. So a bit unusual, slow moving-ish. And the breeze today, probably going to average around 160, 170 on the race course. 14 to 22 cover most of it, but some spiky bits on the front of each rain squall. Tide, ebb, so pretty quick run and on the southerly course down to Obelisk, and a long slow slog back up to the back of Shark, a big test for the guys. Fair to say, a few sore bodies after last week's episode, so we might talk about that in a minute too, Pete.
Yes, well, we're over at the starting line in Athol Bay near Taronga Park Zoo, and we bring Jimmy Bury in. Jimmy, give us the exact details of the southerly course.
Well, southerly course, as you said, Pete, we start down here in Athol, up to Clark Island, round a Adelaide mark there, then the big long run down to Obelisk, where the viewers remember that's like the graveyard down there for them. And they work back up around Shark Island against the tide today, and then a run back down to Athol, and then all over again. It's probably one of our favourite courses to cover and yabber on about.
Plenty of possibilities, James, aren't there? And with the wind direction where it is,
and I think the starter's got it right.
And both reaches will be pretty spectacular.
Yeah, plenty on.
There's Yandu on screen, who finished second last week in a very exciting westerly breeze of 20 plus knots, and we saw plenty of carnage amongst the fleet. There were sadly some broken bones and crewmen getting injured, and we send our best to Tim Westwood and Will Dargaville, who suffered quite severe injuries aboard Birkenhead Point Marina. So if you're watching, boys, we wish you well. But also there was a lot of broken gear, some forestays broken and masts broken. But in the end, Tech 2 got the job done, just They capsized just before the finishing line. Yandu tried to run them down, but just couldn't get the job done. So
Pete, just for the viewers, you know, some of the breakages from last week, quite interesting. 2 failures, the little strop that goes at the head of the jib between the mast and the little forward prodder that they use on the forestay. Some fatigue-related failures, it appears to be the case. The other crewman that we should mention, Lockie Pryor off the bow of Shaw and Partners, seen in a moon boot with... and also, as Jimmy points out, Simon Nern injured himself in a capsize off the back of the Burrowang Hotel. Substitute in for him today, Kirk Mitchell, who's a bit of a good all-purpose yachtsman, can do probably every job in the boat pretty good. So some changes, obviously, in the fleet. Also subbing in today on the main sheet of the Balmain Slate, and this is pretty interesting, Malcolm Page.
Yeah, well, that's real sailing royalty. 2-time Olympic gold medalist with Nathan Wilmot in 2008, and then with Matt Belcher in 2012. He carried our flag in the closing ceremony in London in 2012. So it's some real skill there as one of our very, very best sailors. And we'll see how he goes out here in the 18s today, but we're still in the starting area. It's very grey, looking upwind. There's Smeg on screen there. Whole new crew for her today, Bucko.
Yeah, no, interesting, isn't it, Pete? But Coco out injured. So, yeah, Mark Kennedy, Kiwi Mark Kennedy on the main sheet, a.k.a. Shark, all good, and Mike McKenzie in the bow. So pretty strong lineup. Amongst the heavier crews in the fleet for today. The Shark looking like he's been in a ocean full of healthy food.
Very healthy food.
Yeah. And I think the other thing we should mention, where are we? Another substitution. Finn Alexander substituting for Lockie on the bow of Shaw and Partners.
You got Jacob Broom filling in on the Fisher and Pike that's on screen.
Yeah,
filling in for Nathan Edwards.
Oh, okay. What happened to Nathan?
Away at the 16-foot skiff. State titles of Belmont, mate.
Viewers, yes. All these people trying to do 2 jobs, Jimmy.
Yes.
16-footer sailing.
Yes.
In the way.
Well, if it's not that, it's the Macca 38, it's the Far 40.
Yeah, I know.
No, blah, 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 right?
You know, got it.
Kitchen maker. On screen, Lachlan Steele, Jerome Watts and Matt Doyle.
It's at full strength, that team, Pete.
And just off camera, we're looking upwind into Double Bay. You can hardly see Double Bay with the rain squall pummeling down on the course. The breeze is very spiky here at the moment, 20 knots plus. And we're still awaiting starters' orders. There's a big semi-cruise boat. I don't know what you'd call it, actually. It's a barge moored right on the starting line. At the moment, we're trying to hopefully see if she will move, but that's the... Looking back down into towards Mossman Bay as the Rag and Famish comes upwind. Harry Price, Josh McKnight and Harry Hall.
The new forestay.
New forestay, yeah. She was one of the victims last week, Jimmy, wasn't she, of a broken forestay? Then they subsequently broke the mast. Yeah,
very unfortunate. Those guys have been showing some good speed straight out of the start of the season.
Yeah. Some good sailors amongst those boys. Harry Price from a very well-known Sydney sailing family. Just tacking now.
Josh McKnight, only an odd World Moth Championship to his name.
Yeah. And boy, it's getting windy again here now. It dropped down to probably 14 to 15. But here's one of the good spiky bits that Andrew was talking about, just hitting the fleet now.
There's the Malcolm Page on screen.
Yeah.
The Balmain Slate Racing.
With a reef in the mainsail.
And a hole, obviously, from last week. And the signage there.
Yes.
Bit of a window.
Is that a human-sized hole, do you think, Jimmy?
Someone goes spearing through it, did they?
We're a couple of seconds away here from the 5-minute signals.
Okay, we're away.
There we go.
It's Balmain Blake. They had a wonderful first day out of sailing. The opening day, they won the 2 short races, but today's another day on this very tricky southerly course. It's, the boys have mentioned before, the old graveyard down at Obelisk. It never seems to let you down there. But boy, there's a look at this rain squall coming across from the south now, Andrew. It's just obliterated the foreshore of the eastern suburbs of Sydney.
Yeah, it is a little unusual, Pete, isn't it, for this time of year? Oh well. And Pete, I did review the advice re La Nina on the bomb site earlier today as well. And for the viewers, it's regarded as a marginal, likely to be a marginal La Nina event. So not a strong one, but enough to bring rain and sort of onshore winds to the east coast of Australia more predominantly than usual. And less rain on the west coast of Tasmania, if you're interested.
Yeah, I am. I want to ask you that.
I know.
That's good.
Macquarie Harbour, your favourite spot.
Marginal El Nino, okay? Well,
right. El Nino.
El Nino, is it? Right.
La Nina. La Nina.
It's marginal. That's all we need to know. There's Tech 2 with, they've been sailing pretty well all year. In the early part of the year, they sailed very strongly last year, runners-up in the JJ Giltinan.
And won the Nationals pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
But
Jack McCartney, Charlie White and Lewis Brake.
So they're in good spirits, the boys, despite the big prang they had last week. They still won the race. Obviously, they put the boat back into good order and off they go.
Yeah, they've provided some thrills and spills coming to the finish. So
I see their team mentor getting on the ferry before. David Witt is in town.
Yep. We salute our old mate Whitty, who's in town for the Hobart with the scallywag.
Andrew, we've just looking down the start line. How do you see that? Any end favoured?
What are we going to do, Pete? I think it's a pretty good line.
Yeah,
it's got some length to it. Plenty of runway to the headland, and everybody should be able to get a shot off that line. Yeah, seems like the breeze is just a little on the right, depending on the exact location of the rain squalls. Ebb tide, you'd probably have to think that early days on the port tack would win you the day, but you better not go left when the breeze is in the right, shall we say. So
very good.
Interesting times.
Looking back at Robertson Point there and Mossman in the background, and the rain continues to tumble down. It's going to get heavier before it gets lighter.
Well, just coming to 2 minutes. Okay, so yeah, for the viewers, just a little discrepancy between the clock time on our screen and the commit. And 1:48 according to Peter now, and our clock on the screen says 1:53. No harm done, we don't think.
Clients is online there and in the foreground,
and the fleet racking up, and everybody pretty cautious, Pete, looking at that.
Just a 1.5 now. Got a few. Not on camera at the moment. A few 12-foot skiffs are going back through the starting line in the opposite direction. Their race is underway. But there's a 12-foot skiff with that red insignia going stern of the 18s. And they're starting to line up now, Andrew, with just over a minute to go.
Yeah, so the line's about 30 seconds long, so they've still got a bit of choice, but they don't want to do any manoeuvres really in the last minute. Noakes and Tech 2 and 18-footer Restaurant, the three boats toward the leeward end. And up the top, fighting hard for the top, Smeg trying to keep their life simple, as you would expect with a new lineup. Of the favourites, we might say. Royal Oak looking for some seats in row B.
Yeah, from the right there's Noakes sailing, then the 18-footer Bar and Restaurant, Tech 2, they're the furthest down the line. They're starting to rumble a bit now, with just under 30 seconds to go.
Finport looking good also, Pete, just in that first group, just behind Tech 2 there. Good alignment, I think. Balmain Slate probably in too deep.
15 seconds.
Noakes paid lots of money for the pin.
Yep. First race of the state championships for this year.
Inside.
First heat.
7, 6, 5.
Ooh.
Remember, it's the orange flag, guys, not the actual numbers.
Yep.
Individual's been fired off.
individual. I think Lazarus at the weather end was very close to being over.
They did look a bit optimistic, didn't they, Pete?
They did, but the fleet was standing away now on starboard.
And looks like Noakes might be leading down the pin there.
Yeah, well, he wanted the pin. He was down there early and got it.
Yep.
Only his second race out this season for Sean Langman, Ed Powies and Josh Probeski. And they had a great year last year, third in the JJs. Shaw and Partners going back.
Well, they were upwind at the start, Pete. They were still under shoot
So they're
coming
still,
down.
okay, so they missed the start.
So they're in arrears by 1 minute about.
Oh, they're all heading in towards Bradley's Head, the western side of Bradley's Head. You can just see the rain in the background in Double Bay, Rose Bay area. It is teeming out here on the race course. Yandu with a reef in, not too comfortable at the moment. The breeze is down, Andrew, here, isn't it?
Yeah, not enough wind for a reef.
No.
No, not at all. So,
There's Lazarus, Capital Partners, Marcus Ashley Jones.
and they haven't started too well.
No, they seem to have a guy up the bow on the boat, like right on the bow.
Yeah, there's some issue there, I would think, but there's underway now. But there's the leading group we think going into Bradley's. They're just starting to bail out now.
Yeah, and Noakes has crossed everybody. Oh, and Tech 2 and Finport. Wow. Wow.
Finport, today's sponsor of the day.
So Finport not far off the lead, in fact.
Noakes got across and out into the midstream quite quickly and cleanly. He's in good clean air now at the moment, but at the moment we're on Finport.
He will lead. So cross coming up here, Finport and Smeg. Smeg 1 length in front of Finport.
Yeah, doing nicely, Smeg. A nice cross, easy cross.
So he's made it easy, Pete. Started at the windward end and just leaned back and shoot it on, you know. 18. Yep.
Goes, there's the 18-foot at Barn Restaurant. She's got a reef in the mainsail. You can see the mainsail down from the top of her mast. The white insignia on the Noakes blue, that's a Vet Heritage. They're all standing out on port tack now. They're quite, this stage, well behind. See the rain in the city of Sydney.
Sydney somewhere, isn't it?
Yes, it is there somewhere. But
so for the viewers, pretty clear there. Noakes now first, Finport second, Tech 2 third, 4 Pints fourth. Probably the Rag then, and Smeg in the mix on the other side.
Noakes looking strong, and remembering that Sean Langman's got a new boat coming, which he hopes to launch before Christmas. And this current boat that we're seeing in the lead will be handed over to the Noakes youth team. But at the moment, there's Finport and Tech 2. They're in the leading group.
Yeah. So, Jimmy, the Finport boys today, Keegan York, Bryce Edwards and Phil Marshall, is that going to be his lineup for the year now?
Yeah, it is. I think it is. When I spoke to Keegan, he wasn't 100% sure, but I think he's happy just to lock a crew in that's committed.
Yeah, and get them to turn up every week. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's half the battle, right?
Half the battle.
The Royal Oak 4 Pines in the middle of those two, moving nicely.
The Smeg boys will be happy, Pete. They've got out of the blocks and they'll be in the top 3-4 at the first mark.
They're well to the left of the fleet.
Yep.
Noakes.
So looking at the leaders, Tech 2, Noakes not in shot, but leads pretty comfortably.
Noakes now coming back on starboard.
And he's in a good location there.
The weather mark up off Clark Island to the east of Clark Island in heavy rain.
So they're going to round the windward mark probably in milder wind than they've got at the moment. The rain's suppressing the breeze a little now. But good, nice mid-range second sail, so no drama, I don't think.
We're on Finport across Tech 2. And there's the leader, Sean Langman. He will cross Smeg, who went out to the left.
Yeah.
So nice little lead for Noakes.
Yeah, no, they've been pretty good, Pete. They tacked early, got out into the stream, and
some good.
You know, talking to Josh and Ed, they do seem to be gaining in confidence as they go on. You know, as they accumulate time together in the boat, and they're very looking forward to that new toy they're getting.
The wind, what have we got, 15, 16 knots here, maybe a bit more.
Yeah, it wouldn't be any more than 16.
No, we're just coming up to the Clark Island mark, and then the big long run down to Obelisk.
2 and a bit miles, Pete. How you up for it, mate?
Ready to go. Early night.
A big game, early night. Yeah, right.
And Finport.
Big night, early game.
Yeah.
other way
Smeg
around.
just tacking.
And the Smeg has been good, Jimmy.
Mate, Mick is enjoying it.
Yeah, Mick Lane at the helm. Mark Kennedy.
I think Sharko with it.
I'm giving some points to Sharko and
Mate, absolutely.
Sharko and Mike.
It's going to be very close when we see Smeg come into the picture here.
Yeah.
They've got starboard tack rights.
No, Noakes will lead just.
Don't put your house on it yet. But
No, we can sink them easily if we want, Pete. You know.
yeah, they're just going to tack underneath Smeg, but Smeg will come around them with speed.
No, they're going to get there.
So there's Smeg's going to get there first.
Officially Smeg first. How about that, eh?
Noakes on a tight lay, but they both make it.
That's
They
all right.
will be first and second. And on the way to Obelisk. Here now the fun begins.
Let's go shoot up.
Okay.
Get straight on it, wouldn't you, Bucko?
Yeah, no, you got to set
Okay.
straight away.
Third will be Finport. Tech 2 fourth.
Yep.
Then the
Rag.
cavalry. Here come the cavalry. Rag next. Fisher, Pikell getting a bit of a
And
drenching for the
viewers,
crew.
Great set on the Noakes and great set on the Finport and the Tech
Fisher
2.
Pikell round. Then the Royal Oak 4 Pines. Then Yandu with a reef in his mainsail. He's done well to come through. He was well back early. Then Lazarus.
Seem to have recovered
Capital
from
Partners,
that,
yep.
from that issue they had early on.
That's Marcus Ashley Jones. So the race is on for Obelisk.
A mark and a headland that we can't see. Let it be noted, but that's
Well, we
all right.
hope it's still there.
Yeah,
But
you
the
do.
rain is just teeming down on the harbour.
Yeah. So, Pete, looking at the angle, it looks like they'll be pressing hard to get up over George's head, and there might be a drop and a reset to get down there.
They're away. All the fleet have got spinnakers up. So the next question is, well, they'll make Bradley's, but will they make the next headland, which is Chowder Head and then George's Head? But
Nice skipper there on the ferry, Pete, stopping to let him through.
full compliment to him.
And that's looking back behind us there with the
Yep.
Noakes Blue, Balmain Slake, and I think that's Noakes Youth in the
Noakes
background.
Youth, yep.
And there's Marcus on the Lazarus Capital.
What Jimmy was referring to, there was a ferry bound for Rose Bay that stopped to let the ADs go across the front of him. So, for the sake of a minute being late, I think that's fantastic to see. Great courtesy. But anyway, in blinding rain and not all that much wind, the fleet are off and bound for Obelisk in the first heat of the state championships. And they are full noise, fully wicked up here. Noakes leads. And Tech
Drop
2
down
and
on a bit, what do you
Smeg.
think, boys?
That's Smeg second, Tech 2 third.
Tech 2 having a shot at the title here, again, as usual.
He's pretty good at this, isn't he, Andrew?
Yeah.
Very
Just
good.
got a slightly different setup. The spinning is a little different to the other guys. But they're technically very good.
Get carted away there, the leaders.
Going. It's Taylor Bay in the background. They've got a couple of big headlands to negotiate. It's a great shot. Look at that. 3 boats at full wick.
Yeah.
In this southerly that's probably, it's 16, 17, a bit more here. There's a few good gusts coming out of Rose Bay.
So the boat speed for these guys right now about 19, 20. Not absolutely hammering because the
No,
breeze isn't up. Although, in saying that, we have a look at Finport.
Just
See him in a moment. He's in 4th spot. He's just coming into view now. There he is.
On the face of a screen appears. Wow, what a beauty, eh?
Keegan York, Phil Marshall and Bryce Edwards.
And now a fight for height though, Pete, isn't it? They're all getting...
Yeah.
Smeg just to the left of camera's dropping shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to...
Two sail?
Two sail up to get around George's head. And then set Tech 2 has dropped as well. But at the moment, we're on the flying fin port.
And he's going to get over this headland and carry further into the next bay. But
so he's rolling over the top of these two at the moment.
No, here he goes in for the drop now.
No, he's hanging on to it. Hang on to it.
He's just got to be careful with Smeg just below him there, right?
Yeah, and Tech 2 had a bit of trouble then also.
Smeg's in the luff from leeward. He's trying to luff him. He's trying to hang on to the chute here, Finport. He's in an awkward situation. He's trying to let Smeg go across his bow, but it's happening slowly for him.
Yeah, he can shoot on again now. And he's not completely unhappy about that, but as we've noted, the boat's two-sail reach, if anything, in this sort of wind speed, you know, slightly faster than they sail on the Spinnaker. But
there's Noakes in the distance, still with the chute off, bound for Clifton Gardens, but she will drop shortly to come up around George's head and then get in, reset and get down to the leeward mark in Obelisk. In the meanwhile, Tech 2 and Smeg, two sail reaching.
And so this now the judgment call, Pete, when would you reset?
Not yet. Just look at the wind now. Not far off it, but...
right.
I think Tech 2 out of all of them would be probably looking at it.
Tech 2 just hit the wall.
In a lull.
Yeah, you can see between the two, way down, is Noakes has just dropped at Spinnaker. So Tech 2 is now going for the set.
To rehoist, yep.
Yeah.
And I'd say it's probably about right what he's done. He's not having a comfortable set.
No, it's not.
Spinnaker's in the water.
Oh.
Stuck on the bottom of the jib or something.
There it is.
Yeah, windward set 2, don't forget, guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And Finport not having a tidy time down to leeward there either.
Yeah, Noakes not in much pressure.
No. Yandu rocketing up with a red and blue oval on the sail. Finport still hanging onto this chute. And poor old Tech 2, it's pretty ugly for them.
Yeah. I don't know what the problem is, but there is a problem.
Oh, boys are trying to sort it out. Tack line now going out. But anyway, we're focusing on Finport, who's kept the chute up all the way. And Yandu. Yandu just about to drop their Spinnaker now. Fisher Paykel in the behind them with the black sails. Now Finport drops. So Noakes has done a pretty good job here, Andrew. She held their Spinnaker the longest into George's head, just coming around the headland. We'll see Smeg has just reset. Smeg... dear.
Run out of breeze.
Smeg just ran out of breeze. Nearly into windward, just getting it reset now. Meanwhile, Noakes has been pretty comfortable, done a pretty good job, Sean Langman and the boys.
Yeah.
And they're round George's head and setting.
And they've made an easy job for themselves, Pete, because they knew they could two-sail just to the point and reset.
Yeah, that was all very tidy from these boys.
God, there's some big holes in the breeze.
Yeah.
Little tear in the Spinnaker there on Noakes. Okay?
Yep. Yeah, it'll be okay.
Quite flat water here, Andrew, isn't it? It's not too gnarly at the moment.
Don't speak too soon.
No. These boys looking very comfortable as the race leaders. Sean Langman and Ed Powis and Josh Premeski.
So, not quite a VMG run. They'll be comfortably laying down to the mark. So,
just a few ferry waves going under us.
And they've made their life easy by the decisions that they've made thus far on this leg.
They'll be trying to buy some depth so they don't have to have two jibes down here. It's always tricky.
Pete, I mean, if you look at that boat at the moment, the bow's about pointed at Obelisk on the shore, the Obelisk. And
well, that's what they want, I would think.
Yeah, exactly. They're struggling for height now, so the body language tells you all you need to know.
That's the view looking out the back of the camera boat today.
It's amazing.
Obviously, we can't get a drone up when it's raining, so the boys behind us are working overtime to make sure we get some really good vision to you guys.
I can assure you we are on Sydney Harbour. You couldn't see it in that other shot, but there's the background of Obelisk Bay. And Noakes will lead. just below the mark. Perfect lay line in coming in here for them. She'll drop shortly and just heat up to the mark. There she goes. You see the...
So the old Bowman have earned their money this leg, haven't they, Pete?
Sure have. There's the turning mark. Australian sailing mark in Obelisk. Round to starboard, then the long beat back into Rose Bay.
Here's the
cavalry. Here they come.
And it is a long beat. Tide ebbing at about 1.5 knots. So
Yeah.
and it might pay, in fact, to go up the tack early and go on port tack.
That group are vying for third place. Noakes will lead at the Obelisk mark, and the background is Smeg just dropping her white spinnaker. So she will be second, Smeg, but all under control for Noakes.
And further back, Finport. And
Finport's got out of that pack, and she will be third. Fisher Pykell fourth. She's done a good job. Jordan Gertis, he's wriggled his way up.
What's happened to Tech 2? And they've just dropped back a little more from that.
Well, they had that problem with that reset. Yeah, they were all over the shop, unfortunately for them.
Uncharacteristic. Smeg looking tidy, Jimmy.
What was that lead, Andrew? 30, 40 seconds?
40, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Here comes Finport at full wick.
Oh, and pressing their luck on the drop a bit.
Yeah.
I don't mind telling you.
And there's a little good squall that will enable a few of these boats to get down. Lazarus is the highest of the group. Finport at the mark. We'll concentrate on her.
She's not quite going to be in the bag.
No,
not too bad, though.
No, that will be third. Lazarus.
Good job from them.
Capital Partners coming in. Yeah, she's come through.
But now they've got a bit of a problem.
Fisher Pykell will be next around in fourth spot. Breeze quite soft here at the moment.
Yeah,
she's round.
And they're all a bit caught out by the soft spot toward the end of the run.
Lazarus, Rag and Famish in touch. It's gone left the breeze and lightened quite significantly. Rag and Famish have bailed out quickly.
Next score not far away, Pete.
Yeah, next is rain right in Rose Bay. You cannot see the foreshore at all. You can't see the Vaucluse foreshore or Watson's Bay. Oh, Yandu tacking. Tech 2, well, she suffered greatly after that misadventure with the rehoist.
Yeah, and then they got stuck in light air.
Yeah.
And the problem got worse. And then they were too low, just a bit out of whack.
It all went bad for them.
Yep.
There's Balmain Slake with the orange chute. Just passing to leeward of Rag and Famish. We're on Yandu. We'll be hurting a bit with this lighter breeze with the reef in, no doubt about that. You can see crews still sitting in. They'll be hunting for pressure. As
Kitchen Maker Caesarstone.
Yep, and
The Noakes Youth boys.
Noakes Youth behind them with the Vintech on the sail. And there's not much to come. There's after them.
I think there's only two more, Pete, from when I was doing
Yeah, you can see them in the rain squall up there, just turning around George's Head.
Anyway, we're riding with Finport to leeward and ahead of Smeg. Deficit at the mark about 40 seconds. Finport probably done the right thing, got onto port tack a little earlier, had given themselves an opportunity. Slightly less current, perhaps. Slightly less adverse current, that is.
Here's the next squall.
Yeah. So now, and typically the rain squalls have been bending the wind back a little bit to the right. Not necessarily the case this time, but it's become more volatile.
Yeah, it's tricky. Look at the Yandu and the Rag going into George's Head.
Finport looks like they're making inroads into Smeg's lead.
No sailing's absolutely
Sorry,
smashed, aren't they?
but no sailing is gone.
They've bolted.
Yep. So in the background there, viewers, it'll be coming down a little late.
Well, that's the 18-footers, Pedro, mate.
Oh, I'm sorry.
18-footers restaurant with the
Sorry.
Ilby Spinnaker.
Sorry with the Ilby Spinnaker.
Just in the background, you can see them running down behind George's head while we're on Finport. There's the rag that she tacked right at the leeward mark and went right early.
And the breeze is right back up again, Pete.
Yeah, up and in the left a little. You'll see the rag, she'll go right into the point and bail out. And the wind's probably back to mean, I think, probably in direction and strength. And breeze up again now. Everyone's fully wicked up. Smeg will be second, and Finport holding down third, but the leader, Noakes, is well up off Clifton Gardens, Chowder Bay. So the rag got round George's head. Rain, rain everywhere. Smeg looks solid here, Andrew.
Well, they've barely done anything wrong.
See shortly, perhaps Noakes coming into play. If we can see him in the distance, there he is. Just in the distance.
So viewers, that might look like a long way, but it's in fact about 400 metres.
Smeg keeps on this left-hander coming up here.
Yeah,
He's a nice left-hander, isn't he? Yeah. Lifting off Noakes.
And Pete, it's not dissimilar to what happened yesterday. This part of the harbour, it turned hard left, you know. I don't know.
I don't think Noakes can't bail out. He started to lift as well, so...
Yeah, he'll go all the way to the white line.
I think he'll have to at the moment.
He'll be right. Noakes, Noakes is still leading pretty handily here.
Smeg with Mick Lane at the helm today. Mark Kennedy and Mike McKenzie. They're hanging on to second spot. And there's Noakes in the background.
And Pete, they've been pretty good, you know,
Yeah.
considering they haven't been in the boat together in recent history, shall we say.
There's the place on the racetrack, Finport. He's just got it locked in nice, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yandu in the distance in front of Finport as we're looking at it, but Finport will be clearly ahead. Yandu's hanging in all right with that reef end. I think he's pretty quick this year, new boat.
Yeah, no, and
good setup.
You know, got a slightly different configuration. You know, slightly more jib area, so the reef not hurt quite as much as an ordinary setup.
Smeg taking a header there now, and Noakes coming round his bow. So when you're looking good, Bucko, you should tack.
Is that right?
Dave Forbes.
I never knew that.
Olympic gold medalist, 1972.
Yeah.
He knew how to sail. That was his mantra. If you're looking good, tack.
Yeah, he was a pretty handy yachtsman, wasn't he?
One of our very best.
More than pretty handy, I would say.
Oh, there's Smeg down pressure and a...
No, and a bit squirrely, Pete. Like
yeah, it's coming and going.
Enough land influence here that the lulls are now perhaps where we are, straight behind Smeg. It's sort of 10 to 16, which is pretty awkward.
Yeah, well, Smeg's mid-harbour between Nielsen Park and Clifton Gardens, and there's some little good squirrely puffs coming out of Rose Bay that we can see. We can't see much, but Noakes will lead by a lot, I would think. Gee, it's up and down, isn't it, in direction?
Just have a look at this little puff that the Smeg's just into now.
Yeah.
Jesus. Anyway, tough sailing, but yeah, making a pretty good fist of it.
Good. A nice clear harbour, isn't it? There's hardly any boats out on the harbour to cause interference. So really good, solid beat from Obelisk right up into Rose Bay. There's Finport, left of screen, Yandu. Finport will be third or fourth. Yandu about fifth or sixth. There's the Rag. She one-tacked the mark and has come all the way up. She's done pretty well. She's got some good speed. Lazarus going in front of us, in front of her. It's like a foggy day in somewhere, isn't it? It's just mist and drizzly rain.
It's not normal for this time of the year in Sydney, is it?
Oh, Pete, it's unusual, isn't it? Air temperature 17, the water temperature 21. Tends to make fog.
There's the Rag and Famish, Harry Price, Josh McKnight, Harry Hall doing a pretty solid job. Yandu in the foreground. They've come up in one leg to just to the north of Clark Island, northwest of Clark Island, but the leader is still Noakes. Noakes sailing, Sean Langman. We're on Lazarus, Marcus Ashley Jones, with Cam Gundy and Geronimo Harrison. And in the background is Finport. They'd be about 6th or 7th, the Lazarus.
And Pete, they didn't start very well, so they've gone okay.
Yeah. Okay, Lazarus and Finport. They're coming up into Rose Bay. That's Nielsen Park, Steel Point in the background. Breeze generally left, Andrew. I think the boat's going back on starboard. Don't look anything flash, do they?
No, not at all. I mean, Pete, the ECMW model had it turning, they had it resolutely southeast sort of by about 4 o'clock, so it might be structural and permanent.
Well, that's the Rag going just behind Finport. So that's the battle for third between Finport and Rag and Famish. Lazarus will be about 5th. Yandu and then Tech 2 trying to make up for lost ground that she suffered on that first Spinnaker run.
Wouldn't completely write them off yet.
No, absolutely.
Trying to radio the start boat, not much luck, Pete, to find out who might have been over.
We'll keep you posted there if we get any update on that, but there was an individual recall. We just want to see if we can ascertain who might have been over and who didn't go back, as we're concentrating on Lazarus Capital Partners, just going into attack. That's there's the 18-footer Ferry and Noakes, the race leader, and Smeg just going behind them.
So Noakes has gone away from them, Pete.
They have. They've done a fine job.
Looks like a 90-second lead to me.
So they'll go round this turning mark and then race back down towards the starting area. There's Finport in a close third with Rag and Famish.
On board with Finport, tacking awkwardly off the shore at Shark
Island. Yeah.
There's Noakes around the
He's
bar.
around at the old totem pole.
In a
there
good,
it is.
in a good bit of
Shark
squirt.
Island. Yeah.
A good bit of squirt too.
Oh, he's got a very, very comfortable lead. He's good, as you say, Andrew, minute and a half up.
Certainly well more than a minute.
The old question, when do you set the Spinnaker here to get round Bradley's?
And it's looking, the breeze is right in the right there. So that deflection that we got in Rose Bay doesn't exist towards the CBD to anywhere like the same degree. Shoot going up now. I think that's the right answer, Pete, though.
Yep.
Get her up. get through the lee and then deal with whatever. If you have to rag it a bit to get over the headland, so be it.
Here comes Smeg. It'll only be about a minute, I think, would it?
Yeah, it's a minute almost, exactly.
So Smeg's around. She's a clear second. And the rag has wiggled his way up into third spot. Well, there's the leader Noakes with the red spinnaker. Smeg just working out when to set. They're going in now.
Yeah, they just got a little too sail to get over the cardinal mark in the wharf on the corner of the island here. But
so they go back to where the starting area.
Yeah, so Breeze hard left now. Finport having trouble getting the bow down. Rag.
Yeah, there's Rag around.
In fourth. Finport fifth.
Finport, there's Rag.
Everyone will be dropping their rig to get a new rig
Yeah.
like the wreck.
Oh, they've taken a bit of a tumble here, the old Finport, into windward. We'll just see her in a moment. Absolutely stopped. Meanwhile, Lazarus, he's going to do the same thing.
Bit of water skiing.
Yeah,
Water skiing.
Meanwhile, Yandu will appear somewhere. Finport still can't get the bow down. There's Lazarus around. Tech 2 still in touch and let Yandu round the outside of him. In reasonable pressure here.
Yeah, it's good, good. So
Okay, they're starting to get the bows down.
Wow, it's pretty zesty there, isn't it? But looking downwind, the guys going towards Bradley's are laying Bradley's with a shoe. Tech 2 earliest to hoist out of that bunch.
We can just make out Bradley's head in the distance with that white lighthouse on the old mast from the HMAS Sydney and standing out. In the background, the Yandu's good set. Tech 2's up and going. Lazarus similarly, as is Finport. In the
Bit of a
distance.
problem on the rag.
The rag, yes.
In the distance peak.
What's happened here, Jimmy, to the rag? They don't look comfortable at the moment.
Looks like the spinnaker's coming down. Maybe a tack line or a bow pole issue.
They're going to get run down here. It's a pretty good windward beat. And they're all in a good puff here. Tech 2 coming round the outside of Lazarus.
Just noticed off screen, just over to the left of us, is Royal Oak Four Pines. Looks like, is it, or is it the Burrowing heading home?
Yeah, see, one of them, I think it might be the Royal Oak. Yeah, I think it's the Royal Oak Four Pine, I think. Their day is over, but meanwhile, we're concentrating on this pack that are vying for third.
It's a good little battle here.
Fourth, Pete, I think.
Fourth, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
We can't see the leader. They're in a different rain squall, so...
I know, you're right.
This is the group for third.
Fourth, sorry,
Yeah.
Pete. Yeah.
As Rag and Famish have had a misadventure with their spinnaker. They've tried to set it, now dropped it. Don't look as though they're doing a reset, so... What's happened to them? Jimmy's having a look out the window. Meanwhile, we're on Lazarus, trying to take the gas of Tech 2.
Good luck with that.
If anyone's up for the arm wrestle, it's always Marcus on the Lazarus Capitals, isn't it, Bucko?
Yeah, no, there's some truth in that statement.
Yeah. so Finport and Yandu. 5th and 6th respectively. But as the rain continues to tumble down, we think Noakes is still leading. There he is in the distance, just going behind the red spinnaker of Tech 2. He's right down in Athol Bay there, which will be the back to the starting area. Then he'll do it all again.
Is that Sean's new rigs for his new boat,
No,
Bucko, or
no,
is that
no.
the old stuff? Finport, just to the right of us, if we've got a camera there.
Yeah, he's had a tumble, the old Finport. There he is. It's all over. Put the bow down and into windward.
Sponsor.
Oh dear, that's a disappointment for those boys. They'd sailed a pretty good race up till then. So Yandu a clear 5th.
Noakes going around the bottom mark.
Just see
Into trouble.
the distance. There's Yandu. Yandu jibing.
Where are we?
And not a bad call that either, Pete. These blokes are close to the ley line here.
Yeah, we're looking at what Yandoos on there. Tech 2 and Lazarus need to get
Could be
on the other
overcooked.
job. Yep.
Smeg's overshot by the look of that. Now, Pete, look at these guys. Look at Tech 2 easterly slant, laying him down to the mark.
Yes, Smeg coming in 2 sail reaching there. They certainly overcooked that.
Did you get the Mickey Mouse on the notes, Bucko?
Yeah, I've got the Mickey Mouse on.
Well, as you said, Jimmy, earlier, you couldn't discount Tech 2. They're still nipping away and they're getting themselves into 3rd spot clearly and right on the hammer of Smeg, who are 2nd. Smeg just about to jibe. There's the mark to the left of them. Oh, they get the job done.
Just.
Yeah, dialed her up now.
How not to do it, right?
Yeah, Tech 2, perfect jibe drop. Spacing. Challenging now for 2nd. How about that, Pete?
Yeah, good effort. Still, Noakes leads by a long margin. We're on Lazarus.
So they've
got a bit of work to do here. The jibe.
A minute 10 in their ears, that group from the leader.
Yeah. Lazarus have got to get this Spinnaker down. Meanwhile, Yandu's hammering in on just behind them. They've got the easier drop. It's a windward drop.
And the breeze hard left.
Okay, Lazarus round. They're in 4th. Wow, look at this rain. Incredible. Just obliterating the foreshore. Yandu in 5th spot. We didn't see the rag again, Jimmy, did we? I don't know what happened to him after that Spinnaker misadventure. I think they looked as though they were going home.
Long day without a Spinnaker.
Yeah.
And we're just halfway through this race. So I think it's the longest run on out of all of our courses.
Yeah.
Plenty of wind again here now. Fisher Paykel will be shortly in shot, just jibing with a black Spinnaker. They'll be in 6th. And a good squall here, Andrew. Plenty of wind.
And a fair bit of rotation, as we've noted.
They'll come hammering in here.
Yeah.
Balmain Slake in the background with the orange chute.
And they've come through the fleet too.
Fisher Paykel just dropping. Nice and conservative. Oh, Balmain, they've done it.
There you go, gave them the
Done
curse.
it by being over the...
Gave them the curse.
So, for the viewers, Jimmy Bury has just sunk the Balmain Slake.
They didn't...
Poor old Malcolm Page, unaccustomed to such.
Doesn't matter whether you're an Olympic medalist, does it, really?
No, not at all. Not at all.
They had got the job done, but not quite.
In the windward too, Pete, which is very untidy.
Yeah, that's a long job now to get that Spinnaker sorted out. But meanwhile, this is the Burrawang. I think, is this Burrawang?
Yeah, Burrawang.
Burrawang, okay.
Young Henrys and Kitchenmaker in the background there, Pete.
Yep. Burrawang, good boys. Kirk Mitchell, Harry Bethwaite, Brandon Byink. They're around.
Having a good wrestle.
Kitchenmaker. Okay, the Burrawang is around. Then the Kitchenmaker will be next. A long way behind the leader. And here's Noakes Blue, Yvette Heritage, Tom Clout, Daniel McLaughlin. Oh, looking quite comfortable into the mark. Bit of a late drop here on the Noakes Blue. No. There's Noakes Youth. Pounding down on Noakes Blue. It's Noakes Youth with Vintech on the sail. Noakes Blue, okay, they got Spinnaker down and they're on their way upwind to the next market towards Clark Island. And plenty of wind and plenty of rain.
The Rag and Famish, Pete, just noticed, just seen them come out of a squall there, still attempting to go.
Yeah, no spinnaker, as you say, Jimmy. A long afternoon
Very long.
without a spinnaker.
And then one of our other swimmers just about to go past us there, Shore and Partners.
Shore and Partners.
I think they went back.
I think they missed the start, didn't they?
Yeah, they missed the start
They were
by
late.
about a minute.
Yeah.
That distance is well over a minute from that lead group, so one would suggest they've had a bit of a swim. And there's Tech 2, just so the ferry is part of the course. The skiffs do have to give way to the ferry, is the way the rules are written, but Rob on the Royale gave way to the Tech 2, which was nice of him. Plenty on up here, isn't there?
Yeah, and quite volatile a direction of strength. A further rain score.
Copy.
There's the race leader just to the right of screen, just going off screen, which was Noakes. Seems shortly. That's a
12-footer.
12-foot skiff with the spinnaker, so he's in another race. There's Noakes leading. Smeg just going left of screen, and Tech 2 will be third. But Lazarus Capital Partners has come through. He's quite close to the third spot in Tech 2, as is Yandu.
Close cross here.
Yeah.
Tech 2 couldn't cross.
Couldn't cross, so Lazarus has got him wriggled his way up into the place getters.
Pretty tricky up here, Pete.
Yeah, and they've definitely closed up on Noakes,
No, that's right.
this leading group. Noakes standing into the Clark Island. Yandu just tacking.
There's Noakes.
There's Noakes, just not short of a, pretty close to a ley line, I think. One and in. And Smeg's really closed this gap.
Yeah. And Noakes is lifted now, so
It's quite windy again here.
tough to tack.
Yeah.
Smeg might get the lead here.
Noakes has tacked to lay, and she's got about 60 metres into the mark. Smeg, what's she going to do? He's going to take his... No, going to tack short of Noakes. Noakes will roll the top of him. Oh!
Little
So,
tap.
big easterly. No, big easterly header. Breeze just gone 40 degrees left there.
Yeah, he got absolutely chicken winged up in that tack.
Yep.
I think he was in two minds whether to take his stern or tack early. Tacked early, and meanwhile Noakes just rolled the top of him.
Anyway, they're in contact, Pete.
And also so's Tech 2, just quietly, and Lazarus.
And they're having a nice old stab, those two.
Yeah, the Tech 2 solid again. Is Smeg.
Well, their execution hasn't been up to their usual standards today. I'm not sure why, but...
It was just that one spinnaker rehoist that cost them dearly.
Yeah, but Pete, they've tacked badly a few times as well, you know. Unusual.
Okay, they're
anyway,
third.
Plenty of race to go and plenty of traps for young players, I'm pretty sure.
Third is Tech 2, fourth Lazarus, and Yandu will be fifth.
And it looks like it's a two-star reach, mate. The breeze gone east enough.
Yes, you picked that, Andrew. They're just no one's set yet.
But we need the flatty, mate. Where's the flatty?
Yes,
Didn't you bring it?
the flanker.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Next will be Yandu. You'll see him shortly. There he is. And then a long gap now to back to sixth, but Yandu's fifth. So they're the leading group. Leaders, no one's set yet.
And nobody will set, looking at the angle that Noakes has got there.
Noakes has gone out and got the breeze, and he's off to Bradley's with two sail reaching. Lazarus just ran out of a bit of puff. Tech 2's run out of a bit of puff.
Yeah.
Smeg coming up.
Tech 2 and Smeg will be in the puff in about 30 seconds.
There we go. Smeg's just got it.
Yep.
Tech 2's closed right up to Smeg. Both got the puff to get the bows down. And Noakes got a really good jump then, didn't he?
Let's not get too far in front.
This will be interesting, Andrew. These two are a lot higher than Noakes. So they're obviously going to be able to set a lot earlier.
Advantage Noakes on that one. No, they're in more wind down there, Pete.
They are, aren't they, Noakes?
Yep. So these other guys are a little bit tangled up with each other. Tech 2 famous for being pretty good too, Sal, but Smeg with pretty heavy crew weight today might still be pretty good.
One of the very few power boats out on the harbour, just going across the front of these two, and they're both hunting high here. They're way above course at the moment. I don't think it'll be long before they set. Do you think, Andrew?
I think the breeze is too far forward, Pete.
Well, they've got a long way to come down. Anyway, there's the three leaders. You see Noakes way in the background, going
Pete,
across Taylor Bay.
Look at the shape evident of the next rain score. Looks like the breeze is further left.
Left, yeah.
It might not be, but that's how it appears. But Tech 2 have been working away at this moment right now, Pete. Look, they're gaining gauge and gaining bearing on Smeg.
Guys, I've got some news for you. The harbour bridge has disappeared. It's just absolutely gone.
Yeah.
So,
Tolls are too much. Take it away.
yes.
Now, they painted it in that special invisible paint, Pete.
Ah, that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
Sydney-
Watch one of those James Bond films. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, Sydney is copying a drenching. If you're watching from afar, this is the first heat of the state championship for the 18s at the moment. Noakes leads. Tech 2 and Smeg fighting it out for second and third. Lazarus is fourth and Yandu fifth, but we're on the race for second here between Tech 2 and Smeg. Two sail reaching down towards Obelisk.
And you can see Noakes in the background with a good lead again.
Yeah.
They've got their minute back, I would say, more or less. And Tech 2 in second now pretty clearly, Pete.
Yeah. Lazarus. Ferry going behind him. Tech 2 have done a good job down here. There's Smeg. Mika Lane steering today in the absence of the injured Michael Coxon. Sounds like a rugby match. He's out injured.
Well, it was a rugby match last week.
Must be all those beasties that don't turn up each week, Pete.
Now, careful. Careful. And Smeg's run out of a bit of pressure there. They've had to hunt up again on coming up to the line of Tech 2 is now about 50 metres ahead of them.
Tech 2 absolutely smoking and making yards into Noakes at this moment.
Yeah, this race is far from over. As Jimmy predicted, you can't ever write these Tech 2 boys off. They're there or thereabouts. The breeze quite patchy here. I don't think it'll be... Like, get a shoot on, Tech 2?
No,
Don't think so?
The angle's just too tight.
Yeah. It's still high, but...
Need 130 true in angle, Pete. Not that we've got instruments, but that's the reality.
It's right round to the east here, isn't it?
Yeah. Southeast now.
Right, hang on. There's a spinnaker going up on Noakes.
And I don't think
Tech 2 responding.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
I would have thought Tech 2 could have waited another minute, but anyway, here we go.
What do we know?
Oh, a little bit about a few things.
But not everything.
No, not at all.
Okay, good set. And Noakes, as you said, we'll see him in a moment. He's now struggling to get round George's head. There he is.
He's in for a bit of flapping, I think, here, Pete, perhaps.
Tech 2
Just depending on exactly how the puff lull sequence goes, but
they're working hard at this. They're not looking good at the moment.
no, leeward wing in the water tells you all you need to know, Pete.
Yeah, they're fighting hard to get round George's head.
They're okay.
They're going to get there, I think.
They do want to be right down on it. They don't want to have any room for error.
Meanwhile, Tech 2's further up to windward and barrelling down at them.
On a face.
Oh!
On a face of a beauty.
Meanwhile, Smeg's been a bit wobbly down here. They just went into windward.
Yeah,
But
coordination.
they didn't capsize. They just fill in
Hard
to
to
win.
coordinate 3 blokes
Yeah.
first day out.
Now they're all being lifted again, so there will be a few jibes down here, I think.
But there we go. What would we know, Pete?
Well, there you go. So the Tech 2 is closed up on Noakes, who still leads. That's the obelisk in the background from Obelisk Bay. They just haven't quite got the breeze that Tech 2. Now they've got a good one, Noakes, to try and get down.
You'd think they would lay to the mark without jibing, but it might not be the case.
At the moment they are, Noakes.
Yeah.
Tech 2 is a lot higher. They may have to jibe, but they're in a nice heading gust, Noakes. Good job. They look pretty comfortable there. This is the team that got third in last year's JJs, behind Smeg and Tech 2. Just going for the drop. No, are they?
Yep.
Not far
Going
off.
for the drop, yeah.
So they didn't need to shoot for long, did they? That was a 1 minute hoist, sail, drop. And Tech 2's coming in pretty hard.
They'll have to jibe, I would think.
No, Pete, they're
now.
laying.
They're laying now.
Lying
Yeah.
down perfectly.
Well, this is going to be very tight at this mark. Tech 2 hammering down.
Noakes should still lead after Tech 2.
He will lead, but there won't be much in it.
Gets their shoot down.
There won't be much in it. There's Tech 2.
So there goes Tech 2.
For the drop.
One man drop, 2 blokes on the end of the wing. And that's the standard for the top crews.
15-second lead, perhaps, to Noakes.
Yep. So Noakes there pretty ready for the dial up.
Yep.
This is a bit tricky. Not as bumpy as usual, but still a bit ahead C.
Okay, did that pretty well.
Great
very
picture
nice.
and very nice rounding.
Okay, that's the margins. Very close.
Yep.
So the battle is on. Tech 2 round. So it's about 10 seconds.
Yeah, and no need to put the clock on that, Pete, is
No,
there?
no. Another long beat up into Rose Bay to Shark Island.
So it's a good effort from Tech 2 to get back to in touch with the leader.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think also got to give some points to the Smeg boys, 3 guys who haven't sailed together before, hanging in there on the podium.
They'll come round in third.
Yeah, he's
just
come
in
round
front
in
of
third.
Lazarus.
Yep.
Capital Partners.
And Marcus Geronimo and Cam Gundy in the Lazarus, not too bad either. So
yep, they're solid.
And this is a pretty good test, this course, Pete.
It is, yeah.
Tough.
A bit of everything, isn't it? A bit of everything.
Yep, tough.
Okay, Lazarus round 4, and Yandu will bring up the 5th spot, still in touch.
But you see how when Tech 2 gets their mind on the job, downwind, they're pretty convincing, aren't they?
Yep.
Yandu dialing up on the face of a good puff. And what did they learn from the last beat, Pete? They better get on port, I think is what they learned, isn't it? I don't know.
Well, Yandu got on port quickly the last time and went right up almost to Shark Island in 1.
Yeah.
But there's the battle at the front. Tech 2 tacked earlier.
Yeah, Tech 2 would be happy to be on the lead bow.
Absolutely, be lovely position.
Yeah.
Put the bow down and go, or you can squeeze if you want to. Noakes has got to really hold his height. So that's Camp Cove in the background. I don't think there'll be too many bikinis on Camp Cove today, Bucko.
I was there earlier in the Mancini, mate. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Spare my days. Spare my days. There's Lazarus. He tacked early.
I think Lazarus Capital's done the right thing there, Pete.
Yeah, you'd think that is the right answer, sort of. Except, Jimmy, when it's a bit of east, it does get bent a little more by the eastern, the hills of the eastern suburbs, shall we call it.
And we're going to see a great battle here for the winner of this race. There's no doubt about it. Tech 2 is really throwing the gauntlet down to Noakes here. They're in high left pressure. There's Yandu with Obelisk Beach in the background. He's in 5th spot.
Yeah. This is a pretty good drag race.
So if we can see the leaders shortly. But Noakes and
I can tell you,
Tech 2.
Tech 2's winning the fight right now. A big score. Big
If
squall.
we can get onto the leaders shortly, we'll see what we're talking about here. There's
Yeah.
a really strong
Yep.
good east-southeaster coming out of Watson's Bay, Vaucluse Bay. Here are the two leaders. That's how close it is. Tech 2 to leeward. Noakes up to windward.
2 boat lengths. Advantage Tech 2. Sorry, viewers, I'm talking about what wasn't on screen there, but it was pretty good stuff on the face of the squall. And that gives you an idea of the exact relative positions of 2 boats. Both boats going through the trip cycle. 2 minutes ago they were looking for pressure, and now they're trying to
throw it away.
chuck it away.
There's some good puffs coming out of Watson's Bay now, Rose and Vaucluse Bay. It's going to be a bit quiet while they go across the Nielsen Park area, but then more breeze in Rose Bay, you'd think. Noakes is hanging in.
2 pretty skilled crews, Pete. You wouldn't bet against either of them, I don't think.
But Tech 2's come from a long way back.
Yeah, he gave away a fair bit in the first lap for a variety of reasons.
But he'd be very happy where he is now. I think he's got this long beat to go.
Well, I think he'd like his chances down the reach on the other side.
Yes.
Not too much difference in speed of these boats upwind. Tusail or Spinnaker reaching, there is differences in technique and Tech 2's got a different setup yet. Lazarus down to leeward between the 2 boats.
Just past the Western Channel wedding cake, or Western Channel pile on Sydney Harbour.
That's where the weather reader is for Sydney Harbour, right?
That's
Pete?
correct, yeah.
People want to know where that comes from.
The
That's
wind
where it is.
observation.
If you're looking at the Sydney Harbour wind, the light on the West Channel is a little high at 15 metres above the water. Tends to overread a bit, Pete.
Aha.
About 2 knots, sort of, more or less, roughly. Compared to. But consistently 2 knots, so just subtract it, you'll be right. It's a funny bit of wind in front of us, Pete.
Coming out of Nielsen Park, but it's a few little squalls and then a bit lighter, and so patchy you'd call it.
So Noakes going forward and down, and Tech 2 going, I have to make a decision here.
Noakes is showing good speed, isn't he? Because I think he's gone ahead a little. He's advanced slightly.
Well, I think he just deliberately went bow down to sort of put a bit of a clamp on. Tech 2 just breathing, but having to think about it.
Yeah, I'd say you're right, just breathing. That's Noakes' youth in the background. They they were in the race, but I think they've retired. They're certainly not that close to these 2 leaders. So this is a very, very good race at the moment for first, and as we've seen all year, really, we've seen some very good racing. And the cobweb's starting to come out. Everyone's starting to flex their muscles, and as I said earlier, there's a new boat coming for Noakes. Sean Langman's got a new skiff underway. No. And he'll hand this boat to the Noakes youth team.
He does want it, I can tell you.
So they'll be jumping into a boat that's in pretty good shape. There's a great shot.
Wow. And Tech 2, quick retrim for the puff.
Yeah, there's good breeze coming out of Rose Bay between the boats and the weather mark at Shark Island.
You can just see how much work goes on even for the forward end on days like today with just letting that jib off, just that cracking that jib at every puff, right?
2 inches of jib, 2 inches of jib off, 2 inches of jib back on.
Yeah.
And a bit of other stuff, cutting them off, cutting them on.
Yeah.
But they'd be enjoying leading, Pete, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's the best place to be.
Easily.
So that's the technique of the Smeg boys, of the Noakes boys. Now we'll have a look at the Tech 2 boys.
And wow, Three's turning left again. Oh. But these guys not super low trapeze height, but pretty good. And they like sailing their boat just tipped into windward a little. Everybody's trying to do it, but it's not that easy.
Not on puffy days, especially, right, Bucko?
Yeah, well up range here, guys. So
Starting to lose his mainsail, is he, a bit?
bit of 18, yeah. Head of the mainsail just hanging in the onset flow.
It's fresh and left this breeze now.
Yep.
It's a good 18, 20 knots there.
So Pete, can we do a good tack at the corner here, mate? I'm worried about you.
I'm up for it.
Your last three haven't been too good.
You're the worry, Bucko.
No, Tech 2 hasn't been too efficient thus far. I think they're setting up now, yep.
There they go.
And tacking on the face of the puff. Not great, but okay.
Well, Noakes did well up that beat. He got a lot closer to him, Tech 2, and Noakes extended a little.
Control proceedings quite well. Let's see the tack on Noakes, can we?
Tech 2 is still on, standing on starboard in the middle of Rose Bay as we come back to Noakes. There he is, standing in towards Shark Island.
And here he goes into the tack now.
In plenty of wind.
In plenty. Whoa, whoa. Bit too much boat turn, but okay.
That's pretty good.
Sean's fortunate the other two blokes are of youthful age, I think.
Well, he is a veteran. We call him a veteran, he and John Winning. They're the wrong side of 50.
That's the lineup, folks. And Tech 2 coming back, betting on their technical skill here to some degree.
Yeah, breeze up, 18, 20 knots here, Rose Bay.
Yeah, perhaps a bit more, Peter.
Yeah, perhaps.
Change to the four, son. Close
wow,
to.
there's plenty of wind.
Close to.
Most we've seen all race now.
Yeah, exactly. Now.
So the next run's going to be critical, but anyway, we've got to get to the weather mark first.
Here's the question.
At Shark Island.
Noakes probably won't cover here. They're just going to sail their own race.
I think so.
I think they got to. Watching Tech 2's tack versus Noakes.
Yeah, no, Tech 2's last tack was actually pretty good. Yeah.
Oh.
And I think
is he going to go to a ley line, Noakes, is he?
Advantage
anyway.
Tech 2 here.
Yes, I think so, for sure.
In more pressure. Sean's now...
Not the greatest tack on Noakes, but anyway, we're on Tech 2 in plenty of wind. You can see the white caps really whipping up now in Rose Bay. A lot of return in that mainsail.
But pretty nice, Pete. Look at it.
Yeah.
My goodness. And okay, so they got a nice short ley line. Sean and his boys had to pick a longer ley line. We'll see. But Tech 2 always prepared to do a pretty disciplined thing. You know, 2 extra tacks, don't care. Don't care. Just...
Yeah, they're going to be very close to Noakes this time when they come out, punch out on starboard.
And I don't think Noakes is lying either, actually.
He looks a bit slow out there, Noakes. Here they go.
Well, you can't sail them high and slow, really. It just doesn't work, you know.
I think Tech 2's wriggled his way close to the lead. He's got starboard tack rights as he goes back.
Yep.
He can make things a bit ugly here for Noakes. We'll see them converge in a moment.
Well, if he's close, he'll duck, so... And he might still lead at the mark because...
Oh, here's a close go.
He's got a duck.
Noakes
Wow.
got a duck,
And
yeah.
Whoa, that was close.
Tech 2 leads.
He's not lying, is he?
No,
Pete?
he's not. He's under it, I think. Oh, he's just got a bit wobbly there, Noakes. He's well short at the moment. Plenty of wind.
So now the reverse case.
Yeah.
Tech 2 on port with room to duck, I think.
Oh, Noakes is
lifting
now.
No, he's lifted. He might lie.
Yeah, he's high. Oh, he'll be struggling. He'll be tight.
He's going to get there. But Noakes will be right on him.
Tech 2's going to barrel in.
Tech 2. So for Noakes, the problem is doing the bear away without any speed water over the foils.
Yeah, well, that was a gutsy ley line from the Noakes boys. Tight, but they're going to get there.
No, they've just got
Here comes Tech 2. So game on. Great effort, Noakes.
Tech 2 with the bow away already, but not going to go down and infringe.
Okay, that's Point Piper in the background. They've got to get right. The boat's got to get right down to the zoo. So they're going to come away a long way. There goes Noakes. He's down.
They're both
Tech
bow down.
2's down. They're okay.
Tech 2 will have their shoot up
straight into a shoot. Both boats.
Great stuff.
More rain coming. More wind.
And some problem on the hoist on Tech 2.
Yeah, Tech 2. They've got a bit of a
Yep, got a little
Bit of a wobbly there.
Yep.
Tech 2 boys.
Shoots around the back of the jib or something.
It's just all twisted up. Meanwhile, Noakes set and gone. Tech 2, they've just got it then. Well, that handed a big advantage to Noakes. So they run down, back to the leeward mark, and then a beat from there to the finish at Clark Island. So these two have extended away from the rest of the fleet. So
To the viewers,
it's a race in two.
Yandu is in third now. Smeg fourth. Lazarus Capitals fifth.
Well, that's a great job from Yandu. He's got good speed. He's had good speed all year. But anyway, we'll concentrate on the leaders. Race to Bradley's is on. Oh. Noakes just avoiding that rather large vessel.
Yeah. So, Pete, I think it's going to turn into a VMG run here.
It looks like it at the moment.
If it's not already. Tech 2 trimmed as if they think it is a VMG run. Full mates of trim. Full weight out. Noakes the same.
Just recapping, Noakes did a great job then. They had to duck behind Tech 2, but laid the mark. And then a wobbly spinnaker set from Tech 2 has really handed the advantage back to the Noakes boys.
Yeah, so Tech 2 just got the luff of the chute stuck behind the jib.
Yeah. Just wouldn't come out.
No.
You can see that little tear in the spinnaker there of Noakes. A bit of sailcloth flapping away.
I'll be right.
Yeah.
So looking at Tech 2, and sorry viewers, looking at the back of our little bus here. Tech 2 sailing a little deeper now. Thinking that there will be jibing. Good shot there, Tech 2. And Noakes laying down at the mark cleanly here now also. So maybe no jibing. They might get there just
the mark's dead off our bow,
neatly.
boys, so...
Might be a short one in, perhaps.
Yeah. The rains at our lens.
Still a nice lead to Noakes. They've extended down here.
And Tech 2 got out to the back of a puff then, so heading puff coming now for Noakes.
Only their second race this year. They've done a fantastic job. Sean and his crew of Josh and Ed. Where's this mark, Jimmy? Oh, there it is. In a rain squall.
2 giants, Pete.
Yes, sir. Well, is it? Well, Noakes is a lot lower than Tech 2 is.
Yeah, but
is he trying to run a bit flat?
No, well, he can't. You can't, Pete. It's an error.
He's getting down there, Noakes.
No, he's on the face of a good score now.
No, they're going to drop, I think, are they?
Yeah, he's just taking the weight off the end of the wing. He's going to get there.
Yeah, he'll get there.
A little bit of safety first, perhaps here. Might not be quite optimum, but
Tech 2's a lot higher, but he's coming down in a nice squall too.
Tech 2 now jibing.
He's going to jibe.
But as you saw going to the windward mark, Pete, they don't like being sailed slowly, these boats. They're not set up to do that, you know. They're set up to sail.
Okay, we're on the final beat to the finish. Noakes will lead.
A bit late with the chute
Yeah,
drop.
got to get the job done there.
I told you that, Peter.
Yeah, no, it's sort of okay.
And Tech 2 with an easier drop.
And you see in the distance, Yandu
Nice jibe drop.
with the white spinnaker, the red and blue oval.
Lazarus Capitals
And
to
Lazarus-
the right-hand side.
Yeah, so that's the
screen.
battle for third.
So Tech 2 completely tidy, a little bit conservative, if anything.
It's going to be a hard job to win this now, but you wouldn't ever discount Tech 2. They're on their way.
20 seconds, Pete.
Yep, okay.
And Josh still tidying up on the Noakes. So
And plenty of wind.
yeah.
Plenty of wind, plenty of rain.
So I think what you might see here is Tech 2 tackle away early towards the next rain score, Pete.
Yeah, it's a bit squirrely, this wind.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shifts
But the
still to come.
breeze of fairway right where they are right now.
Okay, you'll see Yandu and Lazarus and Smeg vying out for third. Lazarus will be third, coming across on starboard. And as predicted, just at the leaders, Tech 2 is tacked, but we're concentrating on
and Tech 2
the battle
just
for
got in the
third.
tide.
Oh, wow. Tech 2 is capsized.
So something.
Can you believe it?
Something a bit weird on the face of
Something's given away on that, hasn't it?
something. I don't know. Might have been a breakage or something, but
She just tacked and basically fell over.
yep.
So, advantage seriously to Noakes now. Lazarus second. Now, well, still third.
Quick swim though there for the guys on Tech 2. Like, no spinnaker up, which is good advantage.
But still,
Yandu round in fourth, and Smeg will come round in fifth. Keeping in mind that the second place getter, Tech 2, is capsized and trying to desperately get the boat up quickly, as you'll see in a moment. There she is, like a beach whale at the moment, just fighting hard to get her up. Meanwhile, try and get closer and see if we can see any damage or anything that may have happened to her. It came out of nothing, really, didn't it, that capsize? It was just going upwind, very unusual. Anyway, she's up.
what are the boys doing? Are they sheeting on?
I'll tell you what I think it is. I think trap lines.
Yeah, possibly trapeze wires broken or something.
One crew still out of the boat.
They're trying to get on. They're trying to get on the starboard.
Is she up and going?
Yep. No trap lines on the starboard side there on the Tech 2. Very unfortunate.
So that explains plenty. They'll get to
Yes, you can see them hanging down over the side of the wing. Anyway, their battle's over for second, that's for sure. So the battle now really is for second, because you'd think Noakes has this race sewn up, and we said that last week. To finish first. First you must finish, Jimmy. Remember that.
Always. I've been writing it down all week, Pete.
But you'd have to say Noakes in a very solid position. And Yandu coming through for, could be second between her and Lazarus, and Smeg a distance away in third spot or fourth spot. Wow, this will be a great performance from Yandu if they can get up to second. But meanwhile, all credit to Noakes, Sean Langman, Josh Preveski and Ed Powers. Now they are laying in towards Double Bay and the finish of the first heat of the state titles for the 18-footers on a very dreary, dismal day on the harbour. Plenty of wind though, and
still played a pretty good yacht race.
absolutely. And it hasn't, they've had a pretty good track. There's been no interference by boats out here that are out for a Sunday sail, because no one's out for a Sunday sail today in these conditions. Extremely dismal. Been raining all day here in Sydney, heavy rain.
Yeah, more or less continuous.
And they're about 400 metres dead downwind of the finish, and would be feeling pretty happy with themselves. They defended the lead very well.
And stayed in one piece.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Meanwhile, Tech 2 way in the distance, trying to lumber upwind with no one on the trapeze. That's hard work on the starboard tack. But meanwhile, Sean, Ed and Josh eyeing the finishing line. Ed Powers will be joining the Sail GP team for the event in Sydney Harbour on the 17th and 18th, I think it is, of December, in 3 or 4 weeks' time. It's part of the Australian team.
They go for attack.
Yeah. Quite kind, the conditions now. The breeze just probably down to 14 knots or so. A little puffs maybe up to 16, 17, but
A bit short of the ley line, the boys, but anyway.
yeah, just
I
nice and safe, I think.
don't think they're too worried about that.
No, laying into Clark Island. They'll lay right up into the island and then probably tack for the finish.
On the face of a nice little left-hand path.
Yeah. They basically led from start to finish, except that time just at Shark Island when they had to take the stern of Tech 2.
Yep.
And then they got themselves back in the lead and kept on keeping on.
Time to tack, boys.
They'll be right. No problem.
Pretty good tack too, Pete.
Oh,
What did you say, Bucko?
What did I say?
Oh, no. What's happened here? What happened there?
I
Sean?
think that tiller extension came off. I
Something-
don't know.
Tiller extension's still attached.
No, they just missed the timing there.
Oh,
Anyway.
no. I think you
Oh.
let the tiller go.
Yeah, it looked a bit very wobbly. Nerves.
Oh, well.
Nerves.
We nearly sank him.
First to finish nerves.
Yeah, that's right.
There's the finishing mark in the background.
Still, pretty good sailing on a pretty difficult day.
There they go. Terrific effort. Really hard day's sailing and strong winds with the number 2 rig on. Noakes wins. Sean Langman, Ed Powys and Josh Pabeski. The first heat of the New South Wales State Championship. A very, very fine effort, that. And now the battle is on for second. After Tech 2 broke this
Trapeze wires on the starboard side.
trapeze wires, yep. So they were throwing that challenge down to Noakes, but they will be limping home now, and this is the battle for third. Lazarus, Smeg and Yandu, and at the moment, Yandu's going to be second.
Yeah. Fairly easily, Pete, looking at that, yeah.
Nothing's easy, Bucko, you know that. Nothing's easy. But at the moment, you'd have to put your money on Yandu. Smeg is tacked on port. Yandu's going to take them out close to the ley line, you would think. Lazarus is tacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yandu will just tack
Yeah.
flat on his face, and then off you go. Wow, it's close though.
Yeah. See Yandu with a reef in the mainsail. Not much you can do about that now. You can't change gears
No.
like that.
He's
Lazarus coming in on nice lift on port.
He's done well to get up there with a reef in the main, I can tell you.
Absolutely. Just a bit lighter here at the finish at Clark Island. Lazarus screaming in, but Yandu will get there. Will he lay in or will he one more tack? No, he's going to cross on this tack, I think.
Yeah, he's going to cross and beat Lazarus by about 2 boat lengths.
Yandu's second. Great effort.
There'll be some happy punters. Lazarus third, Smeg fourth. Wow.
Now, I didn't hear a hooter then. Was there a hooter for Lazarus, was there?
No, I didn't hear one.
No, maybe,
That was
maybe.
Bucko's prediction at the start, if you remember, Pete. He said
Yeah,
they,
well, he was
they
up
looked
to-
a little early.
Yeah.
Well, we need
I was
to...
pretty sure they were over, but
Marcus is definitely having a look back, sort of, as if to say what's going on.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there was a hooter for Lazarus.
No, there wasn't.
So she may be disqualified for being over at the start. She finished third on the water, but that doesn't mean much if she was disqualified for being over at the start. Well, we do know that Noakes was the winner. Yandu was second. And we're thinking Smeg perhaps was third because of the misadventure to Lazarus. So the battle now is for Fisher Pike's past Smeg, Tech 2 rather. Remembering they broke their starboard trapeze wires, which would mean they'd be just lumbering along on starboard.
And they're thinking nervously about the trapeze wires when they're on port as well, Pete.
Yes. So that was the first tack after the leeward mark on the last leg that they tacked, and then the trapeze wire broke and the boat just obviously capsized.
Well, they're actually sailing on port tack with nobody on trapeze.
Yeah, so they've obviously had a... There's Fisher Paykel, Jordan Gertis. They've been there or thereabouts all day. Jacob Broom and Kurt Faturis. Yes, and there's Tech 2, the boys just sitting disappointingly, I'm sure, on the wings.
Yeah, everything trimmed pretty soft and just sort of trying not to strain the wings beyond their capacity without the support of the trapeze wires.
Fisher Paykel standing in starboard. He's got one more tack to come in. He's about 80 metres short of the finishing line. Be tacking any moment, I would think. In a little soft spot. There he goes. So they'll be next. And then Tech 2 will struggle at home to be the next to finish, I would think. Or they're on a bad header here. Fisher Paykel, they'll not anywhere near low to finish at the moment. So just repeating, Noakes the winner, the clear winner. Sean Langman. Yandu second. And we think Lazarus, who was third on the water, Lazarus Capital Partners, Marcus Ashley Jones, we feel he may have been disqualified for being over the line at the start, so that would mean Smeg would finish third. Jack McCartney. Yandu, of course, with John Winning and Jasper Warren and Mike Kennedy, as we watch Jordan Gertis pilot Fisher Paykel across in fifth spot.
Yeah, Kurt on the main sheet, Jacob in the bow.
Or fourth spot, actually, if Lazarus is ruled out. So there's poor old Tech 2 limping in without any trapezing at all. And that makes a big difference, let me tell you. They'd sailed a pretty good race up till then and came from a long way back and got their nose in front, just approaching the Shark Island windward mark. But Noakes did a pretty good job defending that. And then, of course, the trapeze wires broke and her day was over. So she will, as they say, limp home.
Yeah. And I think we can surmise that one of the reasons that they were in a little bit of trouble getting the boat up was because there were no trapeze wires as well. And
it's coming up to the line now. Tech 2. She's across. Boys don't look too disappointed. Thumbs up. I think they'd be reasonably happy with their performance up till the time that they had that breakage. They've been pretty consistent this year, haven't they, Andrew?
Yep, been terrific. Terrific.
Well, I think that's about it from a rain-drenched Sydney Harbour. We're dry aboard our lovely Canberra boat. We've had another very, very good race, which we've seen all year, really. The standard's been good and the competition's been good. It's all been very close. So next week we'll be back. Maybe we'll see a nice sunny nor'easter. Bucko, what's your prediction a week out?
Well, I've been...
El Nino? What did you say? A moderate El Nino, was it?
No,
so,
marginal.
Marginal.
La Nina.
No, Nino, okay.
So for next Sunday, Pete?
Yes.
If my model reading tea leaves are going all right, we're welcoming Kimberly Carrington Priestley from Moruya, and the wind might be
You need your crystal ball repaired,
No,
Bucko.
no.
Tell us next week. Tell us next Sunday. There you go.
Light, medium, big sail southeaster. Big sail southeaster.
Okay, good on you. Good on you. All right, well, that's it from Sydney Harbour with first heat of the state championship. Just recapping, Noakes, a very clear winner from Yandu. We believe Lazarus, who finished third, was disqualified for being over the line at the start. Smeg will then get third, Fisher Paykel fourth, and Tech 2 fifth after suffering a breakage coming to the finish on the last leg. So this has been a Sale Media production for the Australian 18-Footers League. So on behalf of Jimmy Bury and Andrew Buckland, we hope you've enjoyed it. I'm Peter Shipway, and we'll say goodbye from a very wet and dismal Sydney Harbour and look forward to your company next Sunday.